everyone, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Francis and I am so happy to be with you guys here today. Hi everyone, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. I am here today to go into my first reading vlog, which is something that is really exciting for me. I never really did one of these and I'm starting it at my room. Now today I have edited some videos, I have recorded, and now it's something close to 11 a.m. Let me check. Hello, thank you. Oh no, it's 10:36, so I'm starting really ahead of schedule. That's so great. Not really. I'm actually not starting ahead of schedule because this is still recording, which is supposed to be until 11. I might explain this kind of thing in another video so that you can understand a little bit more of what I'm talking about. But right now, the important thing is to go into this big boy. So I only have about 1 hour or 1 hour and a half to read. I will be discussing some parts on video, but I really want to get started on this and actually get finished with this because it's one of those examples where you want to get finished with it and you don't at the same time, because this book looks really great until now. I might find something there that doesn't really make sense or that I would change, but until now, I'm seriously loving it. So let's get right onto it, and yeah. And I really hope you enjoy this as much as I probably will. This is my first reading vlog, and let's start on it. Okay, so I have to make a stop right here because something very interesting is happening in the book that has been happening until now, but now it's getting more defined. Basically, until now, we are getting to see how Marie-Laure, which is the first character, and Warner, the boy, see the world. We are getting to see how they see the world. So for Marie-Laure, it is basically she sees the world through sound and smell and taste, which is very interesting because at some point it describes her as hearing her father smile, which is something you don't hear, but it's like she's guessing it, and because she doesn't see anything, she has to guess it through hearing, through sound, through taste, through smell, So they could very well have said she could smell him smiling. It would have made the same sense, and it's very interesting because of that. And when it comes to the boy, he is a very curious person. Warner is the kind of person, the kind of boy who wants to learn more about anything, and he has fixed up a radio for him and his sister and his whole house, because he and his sister live in an orphanage, and he can fix this radio, and now they are listening to different broadcasts, and he is hearing this very interesting broadcast about this person who is talking about light, basically. And it's very interesting because it says in the back of the book, I think, open your eyes and see what you can with them before they close forever. And this quote shows up right here at the very beginning of the book. open your eyes, concludes the man, and see what you can with them before they close forever. And this happens after he is telling you how a simple log, a simple chunk of coal, is light. The first thing he says is, it's interesting how your brain spends your whole lifetime in the dark inside your skull, but paints the world outside for you as filled with color and light. And the second thing he says is, take for example a piece of coal in your fireplace. It might be light that is like millions of years old. And the way he explains this is, plants eat light just like the way we eat food, which is very true. Plants feed on light. And so he says that light, like hundreds of millions of years ago, maybe, crossed the atmosphere, was eaten by this plant, and this plant grew because of this piece of light, and then at some point it died, and the log went into a river or something like that. It went down into the earth sometime after it came out, and eventually was picked up by a human who chopped it up and made it into firewood. Then this person brought it to your house, you picked up this log and you threw it into your fireplace until it turned into coal. So basically that little piece of coal is light that is millions of years old. This is so interesting because it's such a romantic point of view on such scientific things, and this is why I'm loving this book. It manages to take really, really scientific stuff and bring it into this romantic kind of reading style and point of view. So I'm really loving it. So now we are starting to get a sense, it's not been a lot of pages, but we are starting to get a sense of where Warner is headed and where Marie-Laure is headed to. So we know that Warner is headed into the intelligence scientific kind of path, so that's probably the role that he is gonna occupy when it comes into being a Nazi. He's probably gonna be an engineer for the Germans in World War II. And Marie-Laure is coming into the literature the most. Her father is giving her books, one different book every birthday. So until now she got Around the World in 80 Days and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I think those were the two. which are actually two books that I haven't read yet. So that's probably two suggestions for myself and two suggestions for you guys if you want to take them. They are classics, and people, I think, don't remember them a lot. So if you haven't read those, feel free to do so. I probably will too. But as for this book, yeah, it's becoming really interesting. I want to talk a little bit about the writing style, which is very, 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 very descriptive, but it doesn't let itself be slow-paced. And why? Because the chapters are all 2 to 4 pages long, which is really, really great. And this is where they are kind of joining personalities, maybe, Warner and Marie-Laure, which is in literature, because Warner is coming into literature from a scientific side and Marie-Laure is coming into it from a more romantic and fantastic kind of side. So it's becoming very interesting to read this, actually. It's very, very, very detailed, but it's great because it shows you details about their lives in like 2-3 pages. That's it. It's just basically showing you the characters in a very non-boring way. Yeah, I'm gonna keep reading for a little while more, like 20 minutes, and then I have to pause. We'll see. Okay, so I have read some pages of All the Light We Cannot See now. I haven't hit page 100 yet, but as I said, this is a heavy read, and I do have one advice for whoever is going to read this book, which is try not to read it in a rush. This book will be appreciated best if you read it paying close attention to the details, because it's very, very detailed, and you can understand the story much better if you just pay attention to the details. You will lose yourself very easily if you don't do that. It's starting now to get into the war times, the World War II times. Until now, Warner is getting a bit agitated, and that reflects in his relationships with the carer of the orphanage, with his sister, with the other kids. He's becoming very short-tempered, and this is because he's afraid of having to go work in the mines. That's his nightmare, because it just means that he will be forgotten and that he doesn't have a chance to become a scientist, an engineer like he wants to. And as for Marie-Laure, she has had her first bullying experience because she's blind. She was reading at a park, and some boys just came by and started mocking her and teasing her. She was very afraid. She ended up dropping her cane, but nothing came of that. Nothing happened. The boys were called by their parents or whoever it was, and they left. So you can see that times are becoming very tense. Very interesting book. I do have to stop for now, but I will keep on going when I can. So I will see you then. Hey everyone. Okay, I seriously hope this light doesn't suck too much, but I just got home like 15 minutes ago. So yeah, this is just a little update. I'm gonna start on reading right after I do all of this, and I'll see you in a bit. I have finished having dinner, and now I'm going to keep on going into the book, and I keep hoping and begging for the lighting not to be too bad, because it's nighttime and I really want to keep recording this because I'm really loving this book until now, and I'm just feeling like I want to talk to you guys about it. It's ridiculous. I hope it just works this way, and let's get right onto it so we can be done with this vlog today. Okay, a little update, this time only on Warner. We are starting to see now how he gets into the Nazi side, kind of, because until now he doesn't really like them at all. He doesn't really care for them, but he doesn't support them. He's like, who cares, whatever. Jutta, his sister, is the one who is actually worried that they are bombing other cities and that they are doing all these things that weren't supposed to be done, that are bad. So now we are getting a sense of how he gets into the German army, which is, like I was guessing before, through engineering, through his smartness, kind of. And so what happens is he has become the radio repairman of his village, kind of. And so at some point he repairs a lot of radios and his name starts going around, and at some point something like a general, a Nazi general that lives nearby, asks for him to come to his house. And when he finally does, everyone is so scared because they don't know what is going to happen. When he finally does, he is supposed to just fix radio, which is the best radio he has ever seen in his life. Radio station. And so he's told that 2 other people have tried to fix it before, but they couldn't manage it, and he just takes like 1 minute and he fixes it, and it's an easy fix for him. So the general's wife is completely baffled. She's happy beyond imagination, and so is the general. And so he tells him that there are schools to which he can go to be trained into being an engineer. And he says they have no money, but they tell him that that's okay. There are ways around that, no need for money. And so he sends out a letter to some other place connected to the Nazis to talk about this boy and to tell them that they have to take him into the school. So this hasn't happened yet. I don't know what twists might happen until then, because this book has been having a lot of great twists until now. But I can guess that that's where he is going to go to. That's where his future lies for now, which is really interesting. And I started laughing a bit there because of some description that, I mean, there are so many descriptions here that just make me happy that, you know, I'm just gonna keep on reading. Yeah. another update. This book is just amazing. I have to keep stopping and updating on this because there's so much detail. But now we are on Marie-Laure's side, and she has been waiting with her father at the train station for ages, and no trains have showed up. I was explaining this, but the phone stopped recording. We are now again. There are so many great points and great updates on this book. I don't know where this stopped, but if you lost a little, then that's okay. But until now, we are now on Marie-Laure's side, and she and her father were waiting at the station, and they stayed waiting at the station for ages, but the trains never came, and the bombings didn't continue while they were there, but it was really, really dangerous. They never knew when another bomb was coming, so her father decides that they should leave and go by foot to the place where they are going. So they leave and they follow the road, but when they do, the road is completely clogged with cars. There's cars everywhere, there are people everywhere. Later they find out that there was a kid who was ran over by a car later on, further ahead, and at some point they just can't walk too far, and Marie-Laure's heels start bleeding, and you see all the suffering in this, and she's just hanging in there. She's just trying not to say anything because of the whole situation. You know, it could be a lot worse than just bleeding heels, and this is pretty extreme. And so her father decides that they should leave the road, and they try to leave and start walking by the side of it until they find like this abandoned cottage, and her father decides that they should spend the night. So they stop for a while, they eat. Marie-Laure starts asking all these questions that are really proper for a child to ask, like are these beds where we are sitting? Do we have food? How long are we gonna take to get to where we are going? Where are we going? Are we gonna have a place to stay there? Why? All these things that could be really uncomfortable, but her father just keeps answering, and he's very patient with her, and you can see just how much he loves her. And the chapter ends when Marie-Laure finally falls asleep, and her father sees that there are bombings going on in Paris. He sees like the planes going by and then dropping something, and then a huge explosion shows up, and he feels the floor tremble. I mean, and he is just there seeing the planes and like imagining, just letting his mind run away and imagining that these planes are fishes, hungry fishes, and that, you know, I mean, the comparisons and then the descriptions, I mean, it's just amazing, seriously. I might stop for now. I didn't hit anywhere near my daily objective or my secondary objective, but I feel like this was a great vlog filled with great story because this book is just great. I will probably let you know before and after that this is filled with spoilers, but for now this is the vlog and I hope you enjoyed it. Hey guys, so you've reached the end of my first reading vlog, which is probably gonna look like a little bit of a nervous one, but it's an experience. And we are reading into All the Lights We Cannot See. I hope you are loving the vlog, and I hope you are loving this book as much as I am, because it's just amazing. Vlog number 1, I will be there for vlog day 2, and I hope you guys enjoy that one as much as I will. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel right down there. If you have any suggestions, leave it in the comments. If you like the video, just like it. And I guess I will see you at the next vlog or at the next video. Bye.